Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing incredible. Today, we're going to talk about an objection that if you've been selling or if you've been in sales for, I don't know, probably more than a week, you've heard this objection for sure. And it's one of the sneakiest objections because it's not an actual objection, it's a smoke screen. It's fake. There's a lot of people get tripped up when trying to handle that objection, but we fall short because it's not an actual objection. And the objection that I'm talking about is let me think about it. Let me sleep on it. Let me, pray on it. I want to give this a think about it and then come back to you. It's not a real objection. This is something that it's triggered. The prospect says it because they lack the certainty. We didn't create enough trust. We didn't create enough pain. We're going to go through all the reasons why. But essentially, we didn't allow them and we didn't enable them. We didn't empower them to make a decision then and there. So when it comes to the think about it objection, it's always, I want to make it clear from the beginning of this session that it's a smoke screen. There is nothing necessarily to think about when you have made a presentation that makes sense to them. And also during the conversation, you were able to create a buying environment for your prospect. When they tell you, let me think about it, we have to realize that it was something that we said or we didn't ask that created that objection. And we're going to see today a few of the reasons why that happens. One thing that I want everyone to take home, and this is an important one before we go too deep, is to be able to overcome a think about it objection. You, in your heart of hearts, you have to consider it invalid. And what I mean by that is, if you truly feel that people have to think about it long and hard about making a decision to move forward with you, you're going to allow that objection to happen by default. So you have to know in your heart that when someone tells you, let me think about it, that objection is invalid. If in your mind it's a valid objection, yes, they do need to think about it, you're not going to have the certainty to help them overcome that objection. Also, there's something that we call the law of the mirror. So we cannot help others overcome a behavior that we adopt. Let me repeat this again. We can't help others overcome a behavior that we adopt. What do I mean by that? If in every decision that you have to take in your day-to-day life, you have to sit and think about it, or whenever you are about to invest into a program, into a service, into anything, if you have to, your decision-making process is long and you have to sit and think about everything, guess what's going to happen? You're going to create these objections on your prospects. That's the law of the mirror. If, on the other hand, you're confident about your decision-making, and of course, where it makes sense, you're making decisions quickly, you're going to be able to build the muscle needed to help prospects make decisions quickly and prevent the think about it objection. Now, a few of the reasons why the think about it objection happens is, number one, there's a price to value disconnect. So the price that you're putting in front of them, the cost of your goods, the investment it takes for them to get started is higher than the value you're creating for them in their mind. So whenever you present someone something, they perceive and they give it a specific value. If we don't do a good enough job to create the value as we're presenting to them, and they assign a lower value than the cost of our goods, they are not going to buy. That's how it happens, right? It's as if I'm trying to sell you, you know, a Toyota for the price of a Ferrari. No one would buy that. No one would take that deal. So where does the price to value disconnect come from, really? First of all, I see so many people, they take prospects through these 20 to 30 to 40-minute presentations. Let's be real. When was the last time that you sat down in a conversation with someone and you listened to them with attentively for 20 to 40 minutes? Chances are, after the 3 to 5 minutes in, your mind started wandering. Then I guess, why would you expect your prospects to pay attention to you when you're presenting to them for that long? They just won't, right? And that's one of the main reasons the think about it objection happens. Sales professionals, entrepreneurs, those who want to sell, they take so long to present their products and their services that they actually confuse the prospect and they are creating the think about it objections. If you're giving them way too much information, it's expected for them to think about it, right? Also, if during your presentation, you're consistently asking them, do you have any questions around that? Do you have any questions around this? What are you telling your prospect? What are you communicating to them? That in all of these stages, they should have questions. And if they don't have questions, they might feel silly. And if they feel silly or stupid, they don't feel empowered to make a decision to move forward. So I want you to be careful with the language of, hey, what questions do you have about what I presented? It can hurt you badly because it makes the prospect feel that they should have questions, and now they have to go back and think about, what questions should I be asking? Let's move forward. Another reason why there's this value to price disconnect in the prospect's mind is we didn't do a good job unpacking and understanding their problems. A lot of people make this mistake. They open the conversation, they stay very surface level with the problems that they get. They take what the prospect tells them at face value. The prospect tells them, oh, I have this problem. Okay, perfect. What other problems do you have? They stay very surface level. They don't go beneath the surface to help the prospect find more problems. The best salespeople or the top 1% at sales in our sales ability, we are able to go below the surface and help the prospect find problems. When we position ourselves as that trusted advisor, where we're helping the prospect brainstorm around their problems and we're also giving insight, we're positioning ourselves as trusted authorities. Now we're able to create a buying environment because the prospect, they feel safe. They feel that they're in the presence of an expert, not someone who's just trying to sell to them, but someone who's trying to understand their situation in a deep way. Once I show them that I'm clearly showing them, this is your problem, this is your problem, and this is your problem, right? Okay, let's go below the surface. What are other problems that you have? Where are these problems coming from? How are these problems created? If you're able to help the prospect brainstorm, again, the prospect feels informed. And that's where they feel empowered to move forward. That's how you're able to pre-handle the think about it objection. Let's say that we do a good job, we start building the gap between their hell state, where the problems are, and the heaven state, where they want to go. What does their heaven look like, their ideal picture? There is a thing called cost of inaction. So no matter if we do a good job building the gap, if there is no urgency in the conversation and everything, all the language that they're using is in the future, we will do this. Oh yeah, this is something that we would need to do. They are living way far in the future. There is no urgency to their language. Whenever you hear that from prospects, you need to be careful. A think about it objection is about to happen. We need to get the prospect to think from a future state of making changes in the future to making changes today. And how do we do that? By building up the cost of inaction in their mind. The cost of inaction, we are able to build up in their mind this urgency, this internal urgency, by asking them nightmare questions. This is what I call a nightmare question. It's getting them to realize the consequences of what happens if they don't make a change today, not in 2 years from now. It's what happens if you stay exactly as you are, you stay on with the problems that you have right now for the next 2, 4, 6 months. What problems are going to be created? What are the consequences of you staying exactly the same? Now, I'm able to stretch and help them realize the cost of inaction in their mind. And if I do a good job and that cost of inaction is much more, it's much larger than the cost of action, they're going to move forward. Now, that's the price to value disconnect. Another big reason why people say think about it, let me think about it, is number one, money, like they have concerns around money, or fear and uncertainty. So they either don't have the money to move forward and they're just telling you the smokescreen of, let me think about it, or they have the money, but they are concerned around spending the money. So there's uncertainty around moving forward. So here's how we identify which objection it actually is. First, and this is the prospect tells you, let me think about it. This is the exact language I want you to use to handle the objection. So the prospect says, let me think about it. You say, yeah, that's fine. I want to diffuse the resistance. That's fine. That's not a problem that you want to think about it. May I ask, before you go and actually think about it, do you feel what I put in front of you will get you to where you want to go? Let me repeat this with another version. They say, let me think about it. And you say, yeah, that's not a problem. Before you go and actually think about it, do you feel the plan that I put together for you will get you to where you want to go? And I want to hear a loud and clear yes. If I hear a loud and clear yes, what does that mean? It means that I did a good enough job presenting to them and I'm eliminating the value objection. What does that mean? It means that if we come to an agreement at that point of the meeting, we come to an agreement that this is the solution for them, it's impossible for them to later come back and say, oh, I don't feel this is the answer for me. Because we just agreed that the value is there for them. So we have 2 more steps left. We ask them, do you feel that this will get you to where you want to go? Yes, I do. Then you're going to ask, why do you feel it can though? This is critical. Because we want to get them to defend their position. Just getting a yes from them, it's empty. It doesn't mean a lot. It's a validation, but unless we get them to defend that yes, it doesn't really have weight to it. That's why we want always, when we ask, do you feel we can get you to where you want to go? And they say yes, you will ask, why do you feel it can though? We will push them lightly away to get them to defend that position. So you will say, why do you feel it can help you though? Now they will start selling themselves on your product, right? On your offer, on your solution. Right after that, what I like to do is lock it in again. This is optional, but you're welcome to use it because I want to really flush out any objections. So what I ask them is, okay, so with what I just took you through, like the step-by-step sales training, the weekly calls, the one-on-ones with me, is there any way that you feel that this is not going to work for you? So I'm going negative so they can come back and correct me. No, I'm certain that this will work for me. And now we have come to a clear agreement that they feel this is the solution for them. Once I validate that, I'm going to help them clarify the objection. Okay, so if you feel that this is actually going to help, then what was it that you wanted to go over in your mind, just in case I can help since I'm here? See what I did there? First, I'm diffusing the objection, coming to an agreement with them that they feel that this is the solution for them. It's then and only then, after I have diffused their initial resistance, the initial smokescreen, that I will try to penetrate it and tell them, okay, so what was it that you wanted to go over in your mind just in case I can help now that I'm here? And now what's going to happen, because we agreed on the value objection, it's either going to be a money objection, a logistical objection, or it's going to be a fear or an uncertainty in terms of their ability to do it. Not that your product won't get them to where they want to go. It's more around their ability of they're afraid to spend the money. What happens though if you ask them, do you feel we can get you to where you want to go? And they say, well, I'm not sure. Then we're in a little bit of trouble because there's a disconnect between the problem that they told you and the solution that you put in front of them. They don't feel that it will help. So what do you do then? You have to use what I call a $1 million reset button. I call it that because I've used this exact question to produce more than $1 million in sales for myself and clients and client work. So at this point, you have to help them circle back into their pain. That's the only way to get around that, because you're at a disagreement. You put something in front of them and they don't feel it will help. So the only way to go is back to their problem and start unpacking more problems and present the solution again. So you will ask them, may I ask, okay, what had you considering making a change in the first place? So let me take you through the sequence again. You ask them, do you feel what I put in front of you will get you to where you want to go? Or do you feel the plan that I presented to you is the solution for you? They will say, I'm not sure. Then I will say, can you help me understand what's not resonating with you? And they say, well, I don't think it will help us because of X and Y and Z. Now, they're gonna find problems around the solution. So they're gonna start nitpicking around the solution. And they're going to start thinking about the cost, what they're not getting. It's not a good place for you to be, because now you have to do a lot of convincing and try to hard sell them, and it's probably going to end up in, again, a think about it objection. Instead, what you want to do is press the $1 million reset button. So you're going to ask them, yeah, that's not a problem. It sounds like I didn't do a good enough job necessarily presenting to you. May I ask, what had you considering making a change in the first place to solve your problems? Now I'm right into hell again. So I'm right into where the problems live in their world. And I have to do a little bit of discovery again, help them unpack their thinking a little bit more, build a gap again around their problems. So then I can go and craft a presentation again and present to see if this is a more viable solution for them. That summarizes the different boxes where the think about it objection can happen, how we can prevent it. So just to summarize for everyone, the thing about objection, heavily a smokescreen objection. People get stuck because they're trying to handle the objection. Oh, what do you have to think about? Oh, but you said you liked it. It's not the way to go. You get combative, you lose the sale. Instead, what we have to do is we have to roll with it. So what we do is first we validate, we confirm the value. We confirm that they feel this is the answer for them in terms of your solution. So you ask them, okay, so besides you wanting to think about it, do you feel what I presented to you will get you to where you want to go? Yes, I do. Why do you feel it could though? Help me understand. They start defending your product, and then you say, okay, so with what I have just gone through, the step-by-step coaching, the weekly calls, the one-on-one support, is there any way that you feel this would not work for you? No, I don't feel it wouldn't work. Okay, so help me understand, like, if you feel that this is the solution for you, what was it that you wanted to go over in your mind, just in case I can provide some clarity since I'm here? And now what they're going to say is, yeah, well, we need to give some thinking around the money, or I'm a little bit concerned around this, and you help them overcome that objection. If you still get a think about it objection, here's another trick that you can do. I shouldn't be giving you this, but I'm going to give you another trick. If you still get a think about it objection, you can simply lean in. You have to be careful with your body language. You're not going to slap them with it. You're going to lean in. And you're going to say, is this a money thing? And now, what am I doing? I'm trying to diffuse the resistance and penetrate again the smoke screen. So I'll just ask them, well, is this a money thing? And they're typically going to say, yeah, I mean, we have this and we have that. And now you can handle it as if it's a money objection, which I have covered on my YouTube, and we can cover into another live. But that summarizes the thing about objection. I believe this is good stuff, valuable for everyone. Any questions before I jump off here? Any questions from